Stop.
One, two. Y'all see this? Get it all on video.
Over several questions.
Look at this.
Obviously, one of great contention and speculation. Yeah. What are we looking at here?
Well, you're looking at several things. One is,
hey y'all, it's your boy from Celeb News. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share the video, and drop a comment. I want to hear what y'all think about this one, because baby, it's a mess, and the tea is hot. Now, before we dive in, let me go ahead and clear my throat because the lies are flying and the truth is trying to fight its way through. I'm about to lay it all out for you. So hold on, pull up your britches, because this story right here, phew. Let's talk about Tiffany's old neighbor, none other than Mayor Christopher Clark. Yeah, that one. Real sneaky character if you ask me. Me? I don't trust him. Not one bit. And guess who's back stirring up dust over in Harvey? Yep, Jedediah. He's back, kicking up drama, and y'all already know it's about to get entertaining. So he did this interview, and I was actually watching it live while doing something else. Not even 5 minutes in, and boom, caught him in a lie. A whole contradiction. Right there. I'm just glad I froze the screen when I did because the face he made? Hilarious. Tell me, does this look like a trustworthy face? Absolutely not. Now let me take y'all down the rabbit hole, because the way this man moves? Sketchy. Straight up. This guy, the mayor of Harvey, if you didn't know, holds his meetings in the same building where Tiffany once held one of hers. Remember that meeting she did in what looked like a courthouse? Yeah, that place. That's his spot. When he's up there pretending to do real business. That's where he is. And listen, this is just my opinion, but I think he's terrible. You can just feel it. I don't trust him. I don't like how he moves. And I think more people need to see it. And guess what? I'm allowed to share that opinion. Chris, you're not my mayor. So yes, I'm taking y'all all the way down this rabbit hole. Buckle up. The truth is coming out.
Okay, so this is interesting to me because so basically what you're telling me is that my experience of coming to you as a potential opponent and getting a meeting with you was not unique. You would do this for the people who live in your community.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Say it again on the record. Say you'll meet with them.
Absolutely. Well, I've already welcomed them, and I welcome them again. Okay, but now you gotta understand now. Okay, just like you and I, we're having a conversation. You can't. I'll give you an example.
This is it.
And of course, there's gonna be somebody that does not like this, but I'm being 100% honest.
I hear you.
Somebody came in, and and we started talking.
Hey y'all, it's your boy from Celeb News. Hit that like button, subscribe, share the video, and of course, jump in the comments. Let me know what you think, because this one right here, phew, grab your snacks. Now let me clear my throat before I spit this all out. I'm about to drop the truth, and we're not holding anything back today. Buckle up. So let me set the scene. We're talking about Mayor Christopher Clark of Harvey. Yes, his name is Chris. Not Steve, not Mike, asterisk, asterisk, Chris, asterisk, asterisk. I just want to make that clear because apparently, people are out here acting like that's a mistake or a crime. But here's where it gets interesting. Someone was speaking casually to him and called him Chris, which is, again, his actual name, and suddenly the energy shifted. You'd think someone called him out of his name, insulted his mama, and set fire to City Hall. Like, sir, calm down. Now, unless you're a personal friend or family member, I get that you might want a little more formality. But it's not what was said, it's how he reacted. Chris got real bothered that someone didn't address him with his title. Now I get respect, and I'm all for professionalism. But this wasn't a formal press conference or city meeting. This was casual conversation. Relax. So I let the guy know, I said, hey, look, I hear you, and yes, I'm that guy you're talking about. But still what you're doing, it's disrespectful to the seat. You've got to recognize the office. But y'all, it's the way Chris took it. He was acting like someone should have addressed him as King Chris. Imagine being in a regular conversation and expecting to be treated like royalty. It's giving delusion. It's giving, sir, calm down. It's giving, you want to be a queen and you mad you not. And the whole head shaking, neck rolling thing? Please, that's the same stuff they use to stereotype and criticize black women. So now, when a black man starts doing all that and acting like he's above everyone, it's giving asterisk internalize something. Asterisk, it's giving asterisk zesty. Asterisk, it's giving asterisk you jealous of women. Honey. Asterisk, like, be real. Be your authentic self. And maybe you stop being so bitter. I'm not trying to drag you, Chris. But sir, asterisk, you're doing a lot for someone who's supposed to be serving the people. Now don't get it twisted. I'm a grown man. I'm also human. I get irritated. I've been raised to speak with respect, yes. But I was also raised by two folks in the Depression era who taught me not to tolerate foolishness. And what you're doing, that ain't it. You want people to respect your title, but you're not giving them anything to respect. Respect is earned, not demanded. Just because you have a position of power doesn't mean people owe you reverence if your attitude is trash. You know what it's giving? It's giving asterisk dictator. Asterisk, you want everybody to like you, and if they don't, you want to punish them or call them out. That ain't how public service works. You're not a king. You're not above criticism. You are a public servant. Your job is to represent asterisk us. Asterisk. And let's talk about that little hand of his. Yes, I said it. The hand. Sir, why is your hand acting like it wants to be the star of the show? I couldn't stop watching. The way it kept popping into frame like, hey y'all, I'm here too. Like the hand had something to say all on its own. If hands could talk, that one was yelling, don't do that over here. Every time he made a point, that hand was just floating like it had a mission. Sir, put that hand down. It's distracting. It's giving supporting actor trying to steal the spotlight. You can't put hand in a corner, apparently. But I digress. So he starts going off on freedom of speech, right? And this is where I just had to pause. Because folks love to say freedom of speech ain't free, like that's some deep philosophical truth. Sir, what does that even mean? He looked straight into the camera and dropped that line like he just rewrote the Constitution. No, baby, just because you say it with your whole chest doesn't make it real. Freedom of speech ain't free? What does that even mean to you? Because last I checked, freedom of speech does exist, and yes, you can say pretty much whatever you want. But here's the catch. You can't control the consequences. That's what people always seem to miss. You can say whatever you want. Your mouth can make the words. But what you can't do is decide how people react. That's the truth. I could walk up to you and say, you ain't /bleep, and your mama ain't either. Now legally, I can say that, but I can't control whether or not you slap me. You might, and I might end up calling the police, filing charges, whatever. But I still got slapped, and no amount of freedom of speech is going to change that. I can't unslap myself. So yes, Jedediah or Chris or whoever wants to preach this false gospel of freedom of speech isn't free. You're wrong. You're not being profound. You're just being loud. People say that kind of thing like it's deep, but it's just wrong. Freedom of speech means you can say what you want, but you're not immune to consequences. That's the real point. You can't demand respect and obedience just because you're in a position of power. You've got to earn it through service, integrity, and how you treat people. And all this over somebody calling you by your actual name? Come on, grow up. They didn't call you out your name. They didn't curse at you. They called you Chris. That's the name on your driver's license. You're not above your own name, sir. If you want people to respect your seat, act like someone worthy of it. And if someone disrespects you, address it like a leader, not like someone whose ego is too fragile to handle a little informality. At the end of the day, your job is to serve. You're not a king. You're not a dictator. You're a mayor, a public servant. Remember that. Act like it. So I'm just saying, be real with yourself. Be honest. Drop the ego and listen to your constituents. You might actually learn something. And maybe then, people won't just call you Chris. They'll call you Mayor Chris. Not because they're forced to, but because you earned it. Hey y'all, it's your boy from Celeb News. Do all the usual, like comment, subscribe, share the video. Let me know what you think because, phew, this one right here is messy. And I've got asterisk thoughts. Asterisk, let's get straight into it. We've been talking about Mayor Christopher Clark. Yes, Chris. Not Steve, not John. Chris. And don't get it twisted, because this part's important. This man got pressed because someone called him Chris in a asterisk casual conversation. Asterisk now, unless you're family super close or in some formal setting. Maybe I can see how you'd want people call you Mayor. But how Chris acted? Nah, it was giving diva. It was giving, how dare you not address me as royalty? Like, sir, humble yourself. So I brought it to the person's attention. I said, look, I hear you, and yeah, I am that guy you're talking about. But what you're doing, it's disrespectful to the seat. Because yes, you should respect the position, but asterisk, so should he. Asterisk, but Chris took that moment to show us exactly who he is. You could tell from his energy that it wasn't about the seat. It was about the ego. He was offended someone didn't treat him like a king. Like we were supposed to bow when we said his name. It was giving. How dare you not recognize my greatness? Sir, you're the mayor, not a monarch. And let's talk about his little hand. That hand was doing the asterisk most. Asterisk every time a camera hit him. That hand popped up like it had something it wanted to say. It was like the hand was its own character. Like, don't forget about me. Sir, put the hand down. The hand is doing asterisk too much. Asterisk, I swear that hand was trying to audition for its own show. Somebody call Bravo. Now, let's pivot into the freedom of speech conversation, because, oh boy, Chris took it there, and this is where I had to pause. People love to throw out freedom of speech ain't free, like it's profound, like they just dropped the most poetic knowledge bomb of all time. No, just because you say it with emotion doesn't make it true. Just because you look into the camera like you're on a courtroom drama doesn't make it law. Let me explain it clearly for everyone in the back. The First Amendment protects speech from government interference. It doesn't mean you can say whatever you want without consequence. It doesn't mean you can talk to people crazy and expect nothing in return. That amendment says that the government won't infringe on your freedom of expression or religion. That's what it means. Period. So when Chris starts talking about freedom of speech ain't free, like we're supposed to nod and say deep, I'm like, no, sir. No, that ain't it. And this man is the mayor, not a street dude, not some guy outside of a gas station trying to start an argument. He's supposed to be above all of this. He's supposed to carry himself with dignity and composure. Instead, he out here basically saying, say something I don't like, and you're gonna catch these hands. What? You're the mayor, not a middle schooler. If someone calls you by your government name and you're ready to throw hands over it, you need therapy, not a seat in City Hall. You are supposed to be asterisk better than that. Asterisk Obama would never. He might shade you a little, maybe throw a classy jab, but he's not about to say something like that out loud, because it's tacky. It screams insecurity. It tells on you. You don't get to be disrespectful to the public and expect to get respect in return. That's not how any of this works. Now, let's talk about his behavior toward constituents. Does he act like someone who values free speech and constructive criticism? No, absolutely not. If someone disagrees with him, he doesn't listen. He sends his goons. He doesn't de-escalate, he escalates. There was a woman, asterisk, an employee, asterisk, who said something he didn't like during a meeting. Next thing you know, 8 people are dragging her out of the room. Asterisk 8. Asterisk for one woman. And they arrested her mother too. Her mother, who was calm and just followed out behind her daughter. But both of them ended up in handcuffs. But sure, tell me again how you don't retaliate when people say something you don't like. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. And I'm call it what it is. You retaliate. You punish. And then you stand on stages pretending to be righteous. And don't get me started on that Thornton Township situation. He said he wasn't going to run for it. Said it publicly. Next thing we know, his name is right there on the ballot. That's called lying, sir. You lied. You're not about service. You're about power. And let me say this clearly. There's nothing wrong with being passionate or assertive. But there's a line. You're a public servant. You need decorum. You need civility. You don't get to demand respect without earning it. You don't get to snap off on people and think that makes you strong. It makes you look weak and petty. Now, yes, there's nuance. There's a gray area where feelings come into play. I get that. We're human. You can feel disrespected. You can want to respond. But the question is, should you? Because once you're in a position of power, the rules change. That's called self-control. Imagine being a kindergarten teacher. One of the kids kicks you in the shins. You can't just punch them in the face because you don't like disrespect. You've got to have restraint. That's what leadership requires. If you don't have that self-control, then maybe this isn't the job for you. Maybe you're better suited for activism. And that's not shade. Asterisk activism is important star. And Chris, you might be great at it. You like a fight. You like the heat. You want to clap back and throw down when someone challenges you? Fine. There's a lane for that. But the role of mayor? That requires more. That requires a higher standard. And you don't meet it. You like to play in the mud, but also want people to put a crown on your head. That ain't how this works. You can't be a bully and expect to be seen as a servant. Now here comes the contradiction. This is the part that had me howling. Remember how upset he got about someone calling him Chris instead of Mayor Clark? He felt disrespected, felt the need to check them, right? Then he goes live, and his name on the screen says CJ Clark. No Mayor. No, the Honorable. Just CJ. So which is it, Chris? Do you want to be treated like a down-to-earth, humble servant of the people? Or do you want to be addressed like royalty? You can't have it both ways. And right after that, here come the shout-outs. I'm just like y'all. I grew up in Harvey when Emerson, shout out to the Eagles. Boy, don't try to humble brag after you just went on a tirade about being addressed like royalty. You're contradicting yourself in real time. And I think even Jedediah caught it because he put him on full screen right as he said it. Like, let's watch this man undo himself. And he did. So yeah, I don't like this guy. Can you tell? And I'm not saying that to be petty. I'm saying it because behavior matters. Leadership matters. The way you treat people matters. You don't get to disrespect the people you claim to serve and then hide behind your title like a shield. You don't get to weaponize your power, then act like the victim when people call you out. Being a leader means having the grace to handle criticism, the maturity to accept accountability, and the wisdom to know when to keep your hand down and your mouth shut. So if Chris wants to keep that title, he needs to start acting like someone worthy of it. Sorry, no. See, Jedediah hit the W. He says it was an accident. I don't think it was. I think Jedediah caught it. He's catching it right now. The contradiction. And now he's playing off like, oh, sorry, my bad. I accidentally pushed that button. Nah, he's been waiting on that moment. Then here comes Chris. You know what I'm saying? I went to Brooks. I graduated from, graduated from Brooks, went to Thornridge, graduated from Thornridge. He wants you to believe he's just a regular dude. I'm not no special type dude, he says, but he wants you to address him as king. Let that contradiction sink in. I ain't asking for a lot. I'm just a regular road guy who likes to be called king. Oh my God, the toilet. Flush it. Flush the whole Clark away. This is ridiculous. I'm Chris. I grew up in Harvey. Shout out to the Emerson Eagles. Went to Brooks. Graduated from Brooks. Went to Thornridge. Graduated from Thornridge. I'm not no special dude. Yeah, we got it. I was a lawyer. People came to my office with their problems. And God was blessing me out of my mind. But I figured I had to be a blessing to others too. Cool story, Chris. But that's all you're giving us? If people expect anything more than that, I don't know what to tell them. Bruh, I'm just a regular human being. Just a regular man trying to make it every day. Then immediately, and that's why I can relate to y'all peasants. It's the I'm just like you shuffle, followed by the classic don't call me by my name move. Just call me Chris. Unless you actually call me Chris, then it's a problem because I'm Mayor Chris or Mayor Clark. Oh, and let's not forget the alias confusion. His name is listed as CJ Clark, which throws everyone off. Now people think his name is CJ, but apparently he wants to be called King. I mean Mayor. I don't like this guy. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. And thank God Jedediah is out here chasing this man down like he deserves to be chased. Chris out here trying to humble brag about how he used to work in a mill, making steel tubing, sprinkler pipes, driving forklifts. I used to negotiate as a grievance committeeman for the United Steel Workers. Okay, now here come the asterisk diversion ramblings. Asterisk, this is the playbook. Distract. Rattle off credentials. Talk about the 27 instruments you supposedly play. You got one in the back? Cool. Nice prop. But for some reason, you can't accept that the job you're in is supposed to hold you to a higher standard. Oh my God, I'm thinking, watching this, all of a sudden we're supposed to be different? No, Chris, it was always supposed to be that. The standards were always there. You just weren't ready for them. See, I know I'm immature. That's why I wouldn't run for president. I know I don't have the self-control to lead people. That's called asterisk self-awareness. Asterisk, but you want the power. You just don't want to meet the expectations that come with it. And that's what makes you asterisk dangerous. Asterisk, yes, everyone makes mistakes. But the difference is you're asterisk not even trying. Asterisk, you're dodging, spinning, gaslighting. And that brings us to asterisk, the arrest. Asterisk, yeah, we're going there. Everyone still wants to talk about that. You know the moment. The woman being taken out of the meeting. You can see Chris's face right before the question comes. He looks so uncomfortable. His face says, all right, I got my lie together. Time to spew it. Let's go. And we roll into the clip. The resolution number is 4005. On the agenda, a redevelopment agreement for Blue Crest Estates LLC, rehabbing blighted property at 60 East 155th Street in Harvey, Illinois. Cool. Motion made. Seconded. Then, boom, someone calls a question. Then someone else objects. And here comes the chaos. You are out of order. It's repeated like a chant. You are out of order. You are out of order. The mayor, Chris, is trying to push through something while shutting someone down. Miss Allen, the second ward alderwoman, they're about to censure and remove her, a sitting elected official, in a public meeting. And all you hear is, "We are not going to disrupt this. We are not going to be disruptive. This is your second warning." Why does he sound like a power-tripping high school principal? Then, motion to censure. Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Silence. Yeah, because asterisk they don't have the votes. Asterisk and then, please escort the second ward alderperson from the council chambers. Boom. Just like that. Now watch the footage. Watch how many guards it takes to remove her. By the time she hits the door, it's like 6 security guards. And 1 guard posted at the door to block anyone else from following or leaving. What's wild is asterisk. Nobody even stood up. Asterisk nobody said anything. Nobody did asterisk anything. Asterisk this is the problem. The real sickness. We all sit around and asterisk watch. Asterisk phones out. Maybe tweeting. Maybe recording. But not asterisk acting. Asterisk, and this is how it always goes down until people stand up and say, "Nah, you're not doing this. You're going to let her go. You're going to stop this. Because we said so." That's how things actually change. That's when laws get rewritten. That's when corrupt leaders back down. That's when people remember who really has the power. But nowadays, complacency. We're just floating, just waiting for the earth to start spinning the other way. So now here we are, back to Chris. Back to Mayor Cart, as he's listed. The question is coming. You can feel it. He clears his throat like he's winding up for a lie. You can practically hear the internal monologue. Asterisk. Let me phrase this right so I can spin it without technically lying. Asterisk, you ever see someone prepare their lie before the question's even asked? That's where we're at. And all of this, from the credentials parade to the "I'm just a regular guy" act to the actual ejection of a sitting alderwoman from a public council session, is part of the same tactic. Control the narrative. Confuse the people. Hope nobody notices the contradiction. But Jedediah noticed. He hit the W. He caught it, and he's not letting go. And if we keep watching, if more people start paying attention instead of staying silent, we might just flush this whole Clark away. Not just the man, but the system that protects him. Oh, you know exactly what happened. You don't even have to guess. But go ahead, hold on, pull up your britches, grab a snack, because the truth is coming. Just give it a minute. Cue the music, cue the throat clear, because here comes Mayor Clark, or King, depending on what day it is, getting ready to spit out the lie. Just get it over with. Chris, he opens with, "If you really follow it, let's take our emotions out of it for a minute. Here we go." Classic setup. Let's be objective. Translation. Asterisk, don't believe what you saw with your own 2 eyes. Ignore the footage. Suspend all logic. Asterisk, this man actually said, if you stop believing your lying eyes, he really said that. If you saw what happened 5 minutes earlier, you'd understand. Oh, I see. If we only saw what she had for breakfast, the entire situation would make sense, right? Sir, please, dig your way to Hades. Go ahead and excavate the road to hell yourself. So let's break down the story he's trying to sell. He claims that several minutes before the viral moment, someone invoked Robert's Rules of Order. That's right, Robert's back in the room. Always seems to be when the mayor needs to sound official. Apparently, a motion was made to call the question, which, in those rules, ends all debate. Once that motion is made, the chair, a.k.a. King Clark, is required to acknowledge it and move the vote. So Chris, trying to be all procedural, goes, "I didn't want to do it. It was the rules. I had to." Insert dramatic music here. Then he starts throwing in disclaimers. I'm not trying to throw her under the bus, but that's always what people say right before they shove you under the bus. So here's the version. The 3rd Ward alderwoman made the motion to end debate. Again, apparently, they'd done this a few times already. And by the time we got to the juicy part of the video, the 2nd Ward alderwoman Alderman Chapman was tired of it. She was frustrated. She didn't want to be silenced again. So instead of yielding, she kept talking. Chris says, I ruled her out of order on several occasions. 2, to be exact. Okay, time out. Let's unpack this. 2 is not several. 2 is 2. You don't get to say several and then say 2 to be exact. 3 or more makes several. That's just how words work, sir. Anyway, he claims he told her, asterisk one more time, and I'm asking the council to censure and remove you from the chambers. Asterisk, which he did. They made the motion. It got seconded. Then chaos. According to Chris, the room was too loud for a roll call because Alderman Chapman wouldn't stop speaking. So instead of recorded vote, he took a voice vote. All in favor. Signify by saying aye. Aye. No. Boom. Done. The fix was in. Now here's where it gets violent. According to Chris, she was supposed to leave. When she didn't, they called in security. The video angle doesn't show the whole situation, he says, but he saw her pulling back. She was resisting. Oh, and apparently, she hit an officer too. Oh, really? The footage didn't show it. The cameras didn't catch it. But you saw it? Right. Of course you did. The convenient, invisible punch. Just in time for you to justify the escalation. Let's get something straight. Try to remove someone from a public meeting without a trespass warning doesn't give you the right to lay a hand on them. Asterisk or asterisk their property. You don't get to grab her laptop. You don't get to snatch her phone, or her purse, or her papers. I don't care if it's a clipboard or a granola bar. You don't touch her stuff. That's not enforcement. That's theft. You ever try that in real life? Imagine being in a restaurant. Someone wants you to leave. Instead of asking, they grab your coat and run outside. That's not crowd control. That's stealing. Breadcrumbs, my / expletive. This ain't Hansel and Gretel. You don't get to scatter people's possessions and then act surprised when they follow. Chris says, oh, we've talked about this before. When someone gets unruly, the best way to get them to leave is to grab one of their items. They'll follow it. No, sir, that's larceny. If a police officer does that, that's misconduct. If a city employee does that, that's a lawsuit. If a mayor tells people to do that, that's corruption. And that's exactly what happened here. They grabbed her stuff. She turned around and said, don't touch my stuff, because don't touch her stuff. And now, the mayor is out here trying to justify the whole thing with a smile and a condescending tone. Like we're too dumb to know what we just saw. We saw it, Chris. We saw her standing there, defending her right to speak. We saw you silencing her. We saw them surrounding her. We saw the escalation. We saw the outrage in her voice. We saw the moment democracy died in that room because someone didn't want to follow orders. You want to talk about order? Try following the Constitution first. I don't like this man. I don't have any reason to like this man. I ain't never going to like this man. He ain't shed. There, I said it. And for those wondering how this circus was even allowed to happen in the first place, let me tell you something about these small town politics. People grow up together. They go to the same schools. They join the same clubs. They hire each other, cover for each other, protect each other. I bet Mayor Clark and Tiffany, who hosted that little town hall meeting for him, have history. I bet they've been walking these same halls for years. But that doesn't make it right. It makes it worse. Because they should know better. Because they've seen the damage that power unchecked can do. Because this isn't just some rogue mayor doing shady things. This is a network. This is a system. And that's why Jedediah is chasing this man down. Because we all watched it. We watched a woman be dragged out of a public space for doing her job. We watched a mayor call theft strategy. We watched silence be weaponized. And nobody stood up. That's the tragedy. But the real mistake? Thinking that nobody ever will. Because people are watching now. The truth is circling. And no amount of procedural mumbo-jumbo is going to save him when it lands. You can only sell a lie for so long before people start asking for the receipt. So here's the part where the mayor tries to spin this whole mess. You heard him. He starts with this story about how it all went down and how things escalated when she allegedly hit the officer. He says that's when the officer had to go hands-on with her. Hold up. Asterisk, asterisk. Did you hear that asterisk, asterisk? Oh, Jedediah, you just going to let him tell that story? You're not going to cut him off? Not even a sir, that's a lie. Before he digs his own grave? Because he's going to. He's going to tell on himself. Let me break it down. The mayor already claimed responsibility for what happened. Specifically, the part where the officer grabbed her property. He didn't just let that slide by. He actually said that was theft. You read that right. Theft. The mayor just out here saying it. And now he's trying to justify it. So, after she allegedly hit the officer, it's all chaos, right? But that's not the only angle on the situation. There's more footage out there. More camera angles where you can see the officer's actions more clearly. So the plot thickens. But let's get to the real meat of this. Was there an opportunity for discussion? That's the question, isn't it? At this point, I'm just watching Jediah. You can literally see him trying to figure out the mayor's lies. His face is like, asterisk. I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but you're just not answering my question. Asterisk, you can see his brain working. I'm telling you, Gemini energy at its finest. He's trying to pin down a real answer. But the mayor is dancing around it like a pro. At one point, Jediah looks at him like, asterisk, what are you even talking about? Asterisk, and that's what happens. The mayor just keeps talking, trying to make himself sound authoritative. He says, okay, well, there was a motion to call the question. This is where it gets even more fun. He goes on explaining how once that motion is made, there's no more debate. Everyone's supposed to cast their vote, and that's it. So Jediah asks again, was there an opportunity for discussion? The mayor responds with more of the same. No, because the motion to call the question ends debate. But that doesn't answer the question at all. You didn't explain whether or not the discussion was cut off in the proper way. Was the motion followed by a vote? Was there a 2/3 vote, like the rules say? Did the council actually vote on the motion to end the debate? But all Jediah gets is the same talking points. The mayor says it again. The motion was seconded, and then we voted. But it's all just a little too rehearsed. Like, he's trying to cover his tracks before the truth comes out. Here's where the cracks start to show. The mayor's starting to sweat. He doesn't realize it yet, but he's already dug himself into a corner. You can see Jediah's frustration growing as the mayor gives him the runaround. And let's be clear, the mayor's responses are all over the place. He's not answering the question. He's talking in circles. It's like he knows exactly what's coming, and he's trying to avoid it. Let me break it down asterisk when the motion to call the question happens. It's supposed to end all discussion. So, once the motion was made and seconded, that's it. No more talking about it. You vote. But then there's the part the mayor isn't talking about. The part where the vote is supposed to be 2/3 majority. That's important because it didn't happen. If the motion didn't pass, that means debate should have continued. So was that checked? Was the vote held properly? Did it pass? You know what the mayor doesn't say? He doesn't address any of those specifics. Instead, he deflects and keeps saying the motion was called. It was seconded. That's the rule. But you can see him wiggling around the actual process. Jediah is just sitting there with that look. Asterisk, come on, you know you're full of it. Just admit it. Asterisk, and it's honestly one of the most satisfying things to watch because you know the mayor's lying through his teeth. And what happens next? Jediah can't stand it anymore. He's got that look in his eyes like, asterisk, okay, I'm going to have to do this myself. Asterisk, because clearly, the mayor isn't going to give a straight answer. Here's the real kicker. When the motion called question is made and then seconded, there's a mandatory vote. The mayor can't just skip over this part. It has to happen. So why did it go down like this? When you really look at it, the mayor is too busy trying to spin a story about order and debate when in reality, the council should have followed the rules properly. The fact that there's a vote missing in his story should be a huge red flag. But no, he's tried to talk his way out of it. It's like he knows he messed up. Like he has no clue how to cover his tracks because the video is right there. Asterisk, asterisk, everyone saw it. Then after all the back and forth, Jediah hits him with the real question. Was she given a chance to speak? Was there a discussion? That's when the mayor gets all defensive. He's all like, no, there was no debate because the motion to call the question ended it. He can't even follow his own words at this point. He's just rattling off more and more rules, hoping that something will stick. But Jediah is like, asterisk, no, I'm not buying it. Asterisk, and honestly, I'm with him. The mayor's story is full of holes. He's trying to create this narrative where everything happened perfectly within the rules, but all we see is a mess. He's caught in his own trap. Now, I have to step back here because this conversation is dragging on, but I'm not done yet. We'll pick up where we left off. This is already over 38 minutes long, and frankly, I'm getting a little tired of this mess. I'll catch the rest of it when I get home. It's already 9:26 p.m., so I'll probably post this tomorrow morning. Stay tuned because this is going to be wild. I can already feel the absurdity in the air. And before I wrap up, here's a fun little trick for those who make it to the end of this video. You know how people love to put numbers in the comments? I think some people do it just because they see others putting numbers like 7 or 8, thinking it's a correct 1. So if you made it this far, I'm going to make it a little fun. Put the first letters of your tagline and your number in the comments. For example, my tagline is, I am J9Eve, so I would put I8. Got it? If your name is a jar of mayo, you would put J8. Now, this is how I'll know who actually watched all the way through. The perpetrators won't know the system, and we'll put random numbers. So, we'll see who's really paying attention. Asterisk, I'm watching y'all. Asterisk, okay. That's enough for now. Mama loves you. Take care.